Hello everyone, I'm Azortharion, and today I'm going to go over the patch 9.1 Hunter Legendary changes and the addition of the new Venthyr Hunter Covenant-specific Legendary. So first of all, you may have seen my previous video where I went over like the first release of these. They've had some changes, mostly for nerfs. So the first one is Bag of Munitions, which was the most exciting legendary last time around. Before it was up to 5 targets hit by a Death Chakram, also hit by Explosive Shot. Really insane for burst AoE. Now that has been nerfed to 2 actually, because on the tooltip in game it's actually down to 2, whereas in this Wowhead article it's on 3. Generally you're supposed to trust the in-game ones more, so I think it's gonna be 2, but it's a bit hard to say what it's actually meant to be the case. Obviously this is quite disappointing if you were hoping that you were gonna get an uptick as a Necrolord Hunter in 9.1. Overall, I'd say it's a bit of a heavy-handed nerf, because if Necrolord was gonna be the new meta or even get close, it needed something like this, a really OP legendary, to get it there. And now Necrolord seems like, you know, once again, one of the least attractive Covenant choices for hunters in general. Next up is Fragments of the Elder Antlers. So this one has been, so last time around it was like 200% chance, which was essentially 100% chance. And I noted in the last video how it was kind of stupid, because it meant that using Wild Spirits on 4 targets or even 3 targets was actually way stronger than using it on 5 targets. So this chance being reduced helps that a little bit, but I have done the math a little bit over here. And basically just, 35% chance to hit twice on 1 to 4 targets. That's what the legendary does. And on 5 targets, obviously, you don't get any additional hits. So I went into my log here and I just looked at my Hungering Destroyer, and I basically just looked, okay, how many ticks am I getting? With my CDs up and Lust, I got like 18 ticks. And then on the others, I got 14 ticks each. So I went with a number of 16 ticks on average per target for Wild Spirits. And based on those numbers, on 5 targets you will get 16 times 5, 80 hits total. On 4 targets with the legendary, you can see here, you get 64 hits normally, but then you add 35% from the legendary, and you get 84 hits. So conclusion, a 4 target Wild Spirits, even with the new legendary numbers, is still stronger than a 5 target Wild Spirits, which is just stupid, because when you get more targets, you should be doing more damage, not less. On the other hand, if they nerf the number even more, then the legendary is just going to be terrible, even though they're going to fix this stupidity. So I don't know what they're doing there. Next up is the Pact of the Soulstalkers. So in the last video, I talked about how it was 5% increased crit chance, but actually in the spell data, which I was not aware of at the time, it was actually 10% increased crit. Now we also have a duration on it. Last time I guessed that it was going to be 10 seconds. Which is how long Resonating Arrow starts, and I was right about that. But actually the increased crit chance is 10%. This does not really change how we see the legendary. Some people in the Hunter Discord, they simmed it out a little bit. And yeah, it doesn't look very strong. So it doesn't seem like we're going to be Kyrian sims going into patch 9.1. It's possible that we will play Kyrian, but this legendary is probably not what we're going to play, even like when you take into account how it helps the raid. But could be wrong about that. It's still early on. Now, for the new stuff. The Venthyr Covenant-specific Hunter Legendary for patch 9.1 is Pouch of Razor Fragments. Bonus kill shots from Flayed Shot cause 6 targets within 8 yards to bleed for 35% of the damage dealt by the kill shot over 6 seconds. Okay, so I covered a bit of the math of this here. If you want the TLDAR, it is not very good. But yeah, here covered it all. So Flayed Shot, if you don't remember, it's a dot, it does pretty decent damage. Every 2 seconds it ticks, and it gives you a 15% chance per tick to give you a kill shot that will do 25% extra damage and be free and be castable on any target at any health. So with this tick rate and this chance, you can expect to get one of these kill shot procs every 12 to 14 seconds on average. So my estimation is around, like on a Mythic Plus pack, you'll put it up and then you might have to wait, 12 seconds or so to get a proc. And depending on how long the pack lasts, you can get like 2 to 3 to 4 procs of this on a pack. And here's just some math on like what the actual damage is done. So a regular kill shot is 200% AP, but of course this legendary, Flayed Shot buffs kill shot by 25%. So the kill shot when it's buffed is 175% AP when correcting for armor. And so this legendary proc, the cleave part, is like 61% AP per additional target. And I've compared it a bit to some other abilities here, so you can sort of get a mental picture of how much damage is, 61% AP, because most people don't think in terms of AP. Explosive Shot is 190% AP for 20 focus on each target, so obviously very powerful. You know how good Explosive Shot is. Aim Shot cleaves, so the trick shot ones, that's 55% of the original aim shot's damage. That's 95% AP per target, and that costs 35 focus. Then multi-shot with precise shots, the cleaves per target are 46%. So the value of this cleaving is like 2/3 of an aim shot cleave essentially, but it's obviously free. Or a bit stronger than a multi-shot with precise shots, which is surprisingly powerful actually. And here I've just like added up all the targets. So kill shot with legendary on 5 targets, that will be 419% AP. A multi-shot with precise shots on 5 targets is 184% AP. So when you add all these targets, also keeping in mind that like it's much stronger on the main target, whereas multi-shot is the same damage on all the targets. It's a bit over twice as powerful as a multi-shot with precise shot stacks for free. An explosive shot is obviously twice as powerful as this, or a bit more actually, but for 20 focus. Conclusion of all this, given how Venthyr currently stacks up in Mythic Plus scenarios, it's quite It's not going to make the difference, or make Venthyr even close to the meta with how the numbers are currently are. Because the problem with this legendary and the problem with other legendaries like Secrets of the Unblinking Vigil, the Trick Shots legendary, is that they only work when there's multiple targets up. Whereas this one actually helps when there are fewer targets up, the Night Fae one. And the Kyrian one, 10% crit for everyone, that, helps on any target count. So, I mean, that was the problem with Bag of Munitions as well. But it's a bit different when it's so powerful, basically. Like, it can make up for the fact that it's very, like, one-trick pony-minded by being powerful enough so that it's useful for AoE, so that when any AoE comes up in a fight, you can just absolutely blast it. Of course, with the nerf down to 2 targets, that's no longer the case as much. And that's basically the problem here. The problem is it's only AoE, and it's not strong enough on that AoE to make up for the fact that it's only an AoE. So numbers-wise, at least looking at it currently, it's a little bit disappointing. Pact of the Soulstalkers, just in summary, doesn't really look like it's going to be the meta, even if we are playing Kyrian in patch 9.1, which I don't know about. Like, you shouldn't commit to any Covenant until we're much closer to the patch release. Fragments of the Elder enters is a bit confusing because I don't know what they're intending to do with it. Right now, it is stupid that it does more damage on 4 targets than 5 targets. But if they nerf it further, then it's gonna be not stupid, but then it'll be bad. So would you rather have a stupid legendary that's kind of good, or a smart legendary that's kind of bad? And Bag of Munitions, I mean, that's just Necrolord rip, basically, as far as I can tell. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again when there are more updates for Hunters on the patch 9.1 PTR.